All right.
All right, but it's officially. I mean, thank you everybody. Welcome back to season 5. I don't even know what episode it is. If I was
No.
consistent, I'd be able to tell you what episode this is. Now that I'm
All
not
right.
excited for it, because if you looked at my notes, which I'll show you it, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a good amount.
It's a
A lot of
lot.
questions. A lot of
Lots
questions.
of questions.
But thank you for joining me, Jen. It's been you are never you have not been on any podcast of mine. I've had two, by the way. You
Two.
didn't know, yeah.
I've never been on your
Yeah.
podcast ever.
I had a podcast with Island Boys with Eric.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you remember Eric from What's Up to, right?
Yes.
And that went really well, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you. That episode that podcast was doing really well, but let's just say when COVID hit, everything hit the fan, you know? But I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being on this because it's been a while. Like our friendship's been like here, there, present, not present. Talked for a little bit, not talked for a little bit. There've been different stages, you
Right.
know.
But we
With
somehow still managed to stay in touch till
after
this
all these
day.
years, yeah.
After
I mean,
all these
even
years.
the reunion that we had, which was so funny. I don't know what made me think about you, but I was just like, let me just see if this girl's because I didn't have your phone number. You had disappeared for a couple of years, and I was like, let me just search her up on the only thing that I ever think she would be on for me because I didn't see her on Instagram, so I went on Facebook and I was like, I searched up Jen and it says you were online, and I hit you up. I'm like, hey, I literally said, hey, hope everything's going well. You know,
Puka, that was the
that was
most
it.
craziest thing you did because that same day I had activated my Facebook again. I did not have Instagram, Snapchat, no social media for a year.
It's
And
crazy.
that day you hit me up. It went through and you found me because I activated my Facebook probably a few hours before you messaged me.
Gotcha. And
So,
just before we even continue, I just want to make sure you're good with the fan. Everything's fine with you. You're nice and
yeah,
it's
I'm
doing its work.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
perfect. Just
no,
want to
it's
make sure you're
fine.
comfortable.
Thank
Because it's
you.
your first time being on my
It
podcast. I want to
is.
make sure
Yeah,
you're as
yeah, yeah.
comfortable as possible. I
Okay.
know you're a little nervous, but I promise you, everyone that has been on the
I'm
episode,
nervous.
yeah, everyone that has been on any of the podcasts, it's always nervous because there's a camera looking at you, there's microphones in front of you, and it makes me feel kind of it's like a compliment when the people tell me they're nervous because I'm like it's like they care a little bit. They want to make sure they look well on the internet because it's going on the
Right.
internet at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, I usually get nervous initially, but then once, things
Yeah,
flow,
we got
go.
some, we got some secret liquids in the nice
Some
PCP cups.
little
We got some water next to us.
PCP cups.
We got the good stuff to make this episode amazing. So
Right.
let's just share some history about us. I met you when I believe I was a sophomore in high school. So that was 2010. So now we're in 2024. So we've known each other for 14 years.
We have. I met you when I was a freshman in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. It's crazy because we became friends because of a friend like that we
Correct.
shared in common. And that's
Yes.
how we ended up building our
We,
friendship.
yep. Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I'll never forget that because at the end of the day we after we became friends of that for that same person that we had friendships with,
Right.
we just created so much history. There was just like
So much.
high school drama, funny moments, dark moments, you know, numerous of times me just coming with my
Literally.
first couple of cars that I had just to
Your
your
white one,
driveway. Yeah,
your
my white one, my blue one, my black one.
right?
Just going to your driveway and talking for hours about
Hours.
life, you
Just
know,
about life, to be honest.
and just scratching up on the cheese man,
And the cheese man always.
cheese man's
No, it was
always
honestly, I feel like I'm very thankful for that person and that, she knew you and then I met you through her because from there we built like a really nice friendship. We had our ups and downs, miscommunications and all that, but I feel like we're here. So
we're still here.
we're still
You
here.
know, thank God.
Somehow
Yeah,
life,
thank God. Thank God we're still here. It's been a
yeah,
lot of years, man.
it's
Been
been so
almost
long.
it.
And it's like you met, oh my God. I mean, you've seen me, and I was like, at one point, I was married and all that. And then from there, now you see me how I am, which is
Enjoying
single.
life.
Correct.
Let's just say enjoying life. How about that?
Enjoying life.
All right. Well, we do have a great amount of topics to talk about today. And I know everyone that's been watching the season, it's kind of really been focused on, overcoming obstacles and sharing those ideas and sharing the lessons. But Jen gave me a good idea because Jen literally wanted to talk about a certain topic, which we're going to mention in a second. But we're going to twist it up for the rest of the season. I want to add what the guest wants to talk about, obviously, but I also want to add a little bit more things to just throw off every episode so it's not kind of like the same thing every single episode.
Right.
Even though everyone's obstacle is different, you know, everyone has a different point of view, a lesson, something they get from it, something they don't, something they resent from it. You know, there's so many beautiful things when it comes to talking about people's obstacles because everyone has problems. The older we get, we
Right.
realize that
Yeah. I
that's a
mean,
common thing.
yeah. That's
Um,
what it is growing up, you know?
but can you tell us what your idea was to talk about? We're not going to talk about it yet, but I just want to hear I want you to say it.
My original thought to bring into the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from a very young age, I was somewhat involved in like ghosts, spirits, and all that. And I thought it was spooky season, even though now we're like in November.
November 2nd.
But
That's all right.
it's okay.
They
You
don't
know,
need to know that.
Halloween,
This is recorded on Halloween, by the way.
by the way, Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Yeah,
So I thought maybe I could bring some life experiences, things I've experienced about that topic.
which is beautiful, which we're definitely going to talk about. But we got some
Right.
couple of topics that I want to talk about before we get there. And also, you know, certain things that I want to try out on this episode, especially because you're a new guest. This is it, I'm not rehearsed with you, so I kind of want to see where you go with it, where I go with it, how the people react to it on this episode
I
that
just want
listen.
to say, like, I'm gonna cough, and I'm so sorry. I
No,
was
it's
a little
okay.
sick, so
You're fine as long as you don't have COVID. And if you have
I
COVID,
don't
it's
have
okay. I
COVID.
survived COVID 3 times.
Oh,
COVID hasn't
oh
gotten
my
me.
God, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do, we do. Um, you can cough all you want. Don't,
I'm
trust me.
sorry,
Don't
guys.
apologize for the cough. One thing I definitely do want to talk about because you
Yeah,
mentioned it,
yeah,
Halloween, spooky season. I have a random question because I just thought about this. I've been watching a lot of TikTok reels, and I've noticed a lot of people share this in common and have been talking about it a lot. What's going on with Halloween? No kids are going trick or treating no more.
No kids. I mean, lately this year, it seemed like it was pretty.
Everything was accounted
Honestly,
for.
though, like also being on TikTok, seeing some, TikTok
Hmm.
videos, I've seen the craziest costumes as well.
Right? But where
But
where
they're
the trick or
so funny.
treaters?
I don't know where they are, but the costumes these people are wearing. There
Yeah.
was one really funny one. I thought it was fucked up, but I thought it was so funny. One girl was dressed like Gypsy Rose,
Gypsy
and then
Rose.
her mom.
Gypsy Rose, the girl that claims not to be a murderer, which is crazy.
Correct, exactly. So it was actually really funny. Hopefully, Puka could put this video somewhere there. Link
Absolutely.
it right
So
here.
hopefully I can find the video.
I
I'm
will
sure I'll be
send you
able to
the
find it. Oh,
video.
thank you, thank you,
It's
thank you.
actually really funny if you have like a dark, humor.
You have
If you
to have
don't,
a dark
if you
humor.
don't have a dark humor, don't watch it. You're not gonna agree
Not
with
too
me.
bad. I'll put it on
I
the
don't
end.
fucking care either. But you know,
Yeah.
um, Halloween. I just think the whole world is like changing completely. It's been really interesting.
What do you think? What do you think is the number one reason why kids aren't like? Because this year Halloween was beautiful, like beautiful weather.
That's terrible.
You know what I mean? It was beautiful weather. There was no reason not to trick or treat. And I work at, you
Yeah.
know, I don't say where I work, but I always say I work at a Home Depot type of store, which I
Okay.
don't,
Okay.
you know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's just say I work at Lowe's now, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about the day, like the day after Halloween. They're like, no one came to my house for trick or treaters. I have so much candy. Can I just come and give it to you guys? I'm not gonna say no to candy,
Right.
but at the same time, I'm just like, what's going like? And also, I
Honest.
did Uber Eats, by the way, that day
Uh huh.
on Halloween.
Uh huh.
And I didn't see them. I mean, I saw some, but I
Mm.
didn't see a lot of trick or treaters. If anything, my fat ass was benefiting from it because every time I delivered to a house food, I saw
You
candy
were getting
bowls.
candy.
And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I just picked that one. I was like, you know
Just
what?
one.
At the end of my shift, I'm going to get one Snickers. And
Okay.
every house I went to didn't have fucking Snickers
Oh, that sucks.
besides the last house, which was a sign.
Well, though, yeah,
Yeah. So I
exactly.
called it a day at
Exactly.
that point. I was like, all right, that's my last delivery for the night. Oh, shit. Last delivery for the night, and I'm gonna go home. But what do you think it is? Like, do you think kids nowadays are just all on the iPad? Like, what's your theory on it? Or do you think it's just like a thing that people just don't care for anymore? It's more about the dressing up than it is for the candy.
I've never really put thought or mind to this.
Hmm.
But if you want to bring up like technology and all that, I think absolutely that has a big impact. And
Hmm.
versus when you and I were young, even in high school,
Facts.
we would go out with our friends and go like not necessarily trick or treating, but out. We were
Yeah.
out and. But now it's like I've noticed, say like people at my job, they told me they had like 4 kids, ring their doorbells, and that was it,
Yeah.
and nothing else. I really don't know what it is. I feel like,
Do you think there's a lot of animosity out in the world right now?
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of
Trust
crazy shit
issues.
that goes on in the world, and
Gotcha.
I feel like somehow that has an impact with our day-to-day holidays we used to enjoy a lot. Now it's a little more scarier with a lot of things that are happening
True.
in the world. So
Yeah. which connects with to like to mention what you just said. It connects with today's world with being connected with the internet, right? Because I'm not trying to say it wasn't, but I feel like back in the day
Right.
we still had this amount of darkness, like as in like fucked up people, but it was just not like shown because there wasn't social media back then.
We
But
were also, I mean, I think we were also little kids.
yeah, well,
I mean,
maybe
well,
not
wait, well,
aware of
well, well,
what
well,
was going on.
what do you like? What are you talking about? Like age? Like what age range?
No, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like nowadays, like back in the day, whatever's happening now was happening back then, but it wasn't like shown. Like, because the news only covered what was,
Well,
reported.
yeah, the news only wants
But
shows what they want
nowadays,
us to see
everyone, if
or
they catch
want
something
us to
on their
believe.
camera, the news is going to cover it, and on top of that, millions of people are going to watch it because other creators, other people are going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's no escaping anymore when there's so much cameras and so much things on you nowadays. Like, you as a human could fuck up, do something bad, not
Like,
meaning to, and if
you'll
someone
be
catches on
recorded.
camera,
Yeah,
you're fucked. You could be having a bad
yeah.
day. You could shout at somebody, and
Well, absolutely. Like technology has taken power over us for
yeah.
especially this era. I feel like it has. Like back when you and I were young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I remember, having the AOL and all that, but MySpace, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy where we were sucked into this technology world.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like this. Like, I remember my cousin when she was like 3 years old, she knew how to work an iPad perfectly.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
and then when I was 3 years old, I had my little doll. Like, I didn't have a little iPad. I didn't have nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different nowadays,
Nah, I
completely. I
get you.
mean, even when it comes to like, not to change the topic, but if you were, going back to in the dating world,
Mm-hmm.
nowadays it's Hinge. It's all these freaking apps,
So many apps,
right?
so many
It's so many
applications.
applications, but like back in the day, that did not exist. Technology wasn't so freaking strong,
Yeah.
so you
There
had
was
to go
maybe one or
out.
two legitimate internet websites that you can go and date.
Yeah.
Like, you remember eHarmony back in the day? Like, you used to see the
eHarmony.
commercials. It was at eHarmony,
I
right?
think so. I think it was.
I forget, honestly.
I
I don't
just
even remember.
I just feel like with technology sort of everything got like not good for anyone. Like,
Yeah, I
it just
100% agree.
influences the kids, adults, brainwashes them, makes them believe something that it's not.
Exactly, because you could be,
Right.
not to get too deep into it, because I want to get to the next topic, which is a new game that I have and that I
Mm.
want to try on this episode. It's called, I'm sure you guys seen it all over the internet, this or that, with a bunch of other podcasts or with other creators. But I'm gonna ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
You're either going to choose choice A or choice B. That's literally, it's so simple. Doesn't have to be anything deep. I was going to ask crazier questions, but I'm like, since it's my first time doing this, let me not go that far because I want to get through the 10 questions. And originally it was 20 questions, but I'm like, the more and more I
Well,
was thinking about it.
let's hit the 10 and
Yeah,
then
exactly. No, no, don't worry. I didn't even get to 20. I got only to 10 because I was like, this is crazy. This is too much.
oh,
But all right. All right. So this or that. That's it. You got to answer this or that. All right.
okay.
Are you a morning person or a night person? What do you
Night
consider yourself?
person, I
Night person.
guess.
Okay. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Whack. Uh,
iPhone.
coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Would you rather explore the ocean or space?
Space.
Would you rather be the fastest person in the world or the strongest person in the world? And I'm actually curious as to why you would choose either
Fastest or
or strongest.
strongest? Probably strongest.
Can you imagine yourself all yoked, looking like a
Yeah.
powerlifter? All right. Smoking or drinking alcohol?
Drinking alcohol?
Okay. Looking into the future, would you rather look into your future or change your past?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Look into my future.
Look into your future.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, have more money or have more time at your current state? You could be promised more money right now or more time.
More money.
Okay.
I would love more money.
All right. Would you never be able to cry again or never be able to laugh again?
Never be able to cry again.
Okay. And would you live alone or live with your family?
I would live alone.
Okay. And the bonus question, because this one I felt like you needed to definitely to ask. Would you rather be rich but sad or happy and poor? Poor but happy.
Christ. Uh, that's really actually really hard. Rich and sad.
Really? Interesting. Well, thank you for answering those questions. Hopefully you
Don't
guys
judge me, guys. I'm just here like he just put me on the spot real quick. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Honestly, whatever, rich and sad.
crazy. There'd probably be a lot of people that agree with you, honestly.
And no, the funny part is right now, like my usual answer would probably be like happiness and poor, poor and being happy. But no, I think I want to be rich and like a little sad. It's okay.
You want to work on that answer? I feel like you have something to say. You got something that you want to say there. Why would you choose that answer? Or why do you think that's a justifiable answer for you?
I just feel like I wouldn't have money as a worry, and I think that's a big, big worry for I think in general. It's a concern for unless like you're like, you have a lot of money, you don't got to worry about it.
Do you feel like not having money creates a lot of problems in people's lives? Is that what you're trying to justify?
I feel like it creates a lot of stress. There's been people who have committed suicide because they've been so much in debt that, they don't know how to pay it off, deal with that, and then they end up committing suicide. So sometimes I feel like I'd rather just be able to make sure I could not be homeless and have money and not be worried about nothing about money. And then
I see
like,
what you're thinking.
like
You're going to the extreme measures of it. You want the
yeah.
extreme on the left and the right as well.
That's what I'm known to be, very left and very right. I'm
I
not like a
gotcha.
really middle person. So
I
to
like that. That's a good
me,
definition. I
yeah,
like so your answer kind of depends on the extreme left of it and the extreme
right.
right of
That's
that
what it
question.
is.
I like that.
I'm
Okay, that's different.
never, unfortunately, I am not a person who will meet you who is halfway. I'm more of a, it's like either this extremist or this extremist, but
Yeah,
that's just how it is. I really gotta look out for myself. And that's how I think I see things. Like I'm an only child, so
you're good.
I gotta be extra careful.
I feel you.
You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense. That I like that definite.
Yeah.
You explaining that has made your answer make more sense to I feel like a lot of people.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. It doesn't matter even if they don't understand because it's your answer
Yeah.
at the end of the day. There's no wrong
Yeah.
answer to these questions. All right.
Yeah.
Before we get to the obviously the amazing topic that you've chose, I want to talk about a certain current events. Obviously, people, we know that voting is happening
Mm.
right now.
Christ.
I hope you guys are all voting because I know a lot of people think their votes don't count, but I think at the end of the day, you should be encouraging the whole world. I feel like the more we get one person to vote, they can be a persuasion or you can convince more people to vote on top of that.
Are we gonna talk about who we're
No,
voting
no, no, no.
for?
We are not going to talk about who we're
Okay.
voting for, but my one question to you is how do you feel the current state right now of your country? And there's no wrong answer. Do you feel like we've projected do you feel like since COVID we have gotten better? I'm not going to ask about Trump or Biden or Kamala, but I'm going to ask you, how have you felt that our country, do you feel there has been progression since COVID? Or do you feel like we've gotten, are we like stuck somewhere?
Puka puka puka. Puka.
Yeah.
Okay.
And please don't mention your party because it's not a political question. I wanted it
No,
to
no, no.
feel like
I'm
your
not gonna.
answer.
I'm not gonna mention my party at
Yeah.
all. But I'm gonna tell you based on just the places I've worked at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, During the pandemic, March 2020, when we were the epicenter of
COVID.
COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I got hired to work at the emergency department,
I'm sure.
right?
Yeah, we talked about this before, actually.
And I mean, I was wrapping dead bodies left and right. I saw everything and anything you could
Mm-hmm.
think of. COVID to me was, I blacked out, I feel like, because it was like a phase where if you ask me if I remember it, I don't remember it really. It was
Mm-hmm.
so busy, so many people dying that I don't really remember it, to be honest
I
with
don't
you.
blame you.
Um, but going from that to other jobs where I was able to see being in the hospital and being in the corporate side
Mm-hmm.
of that, I felt like things could have been handled a little better, and they weren't. And everything kind of went downhill from that. I feel like COVID was sort of what made things go
Crazy for a lot of people.
crazy for a lot of
Crazy for the
people,
world, honestly.
for the world too. But there's so many aspects in the world that's like going on that, I don't like. If you were to ask me, do I want to bring a kid now to this world? I would not. I would not.
I don't blame you.
Um,
You know what's crazy?
uh,
The old me would definitely kind of challenge you on that, but I understand when people say that because it's a scary world. But you know what the thing is, not to contradict your answer or
no,
make you
no,
feel
and
some
you
type of
can,
way.
please,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
go ahead.
But I feel like if we are going to bring people in this world, right? You know, obviously not everyone takes it like this because if it did, I think we'd be a better country, a better world, a better, civilization in just in general. But we owe an obligation to educate the best way we can these future kids, regardless if you have a kid or not, but educate them to give them the best opportunity, the best amazing, future so they can be a big focal point in changing or progressing the world in a better way.
But there's so much you could do.
That's what I'm saying. But I feel like since I've been born, there are very few people that focus on doing that, if that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like we've been guided the best way to look at the world in a better way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
everyone say, oh, it's a dark world, it's a dark world. Okay, well, what are we doing to change it? This is deep. This is crazy. I didn't think we were going to get this. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like if we can be the generation that says, fuck the way everyone's been doing it, let us do it our way and bring that better positive outlook, because you're always going to have good and bad, but if you bring a positive outlook, you do the right things, you give
But
healthcare, you
there is
give.
so much we could do as
Mm-hmm.
like what's that word? I don't want to call them like I don't want to refer us as peasants,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like, when it comes to the
Pawns,
government and
pawns.
all that, like there is so much like control we could have, and at the end of the day, like I feel like a lot of shit is bullshit what they tell us, like
Correct. No, you're
say
not
like
wrong. Currently, right now,
there's a
there's a
lot of
lot of
things I
bullshit.
don't want to, like
Politicians
talk
are known for
base.
bullshit like that. You're
Yeah,
not
like this
wrong.
whole cancer shit, like I feel like the cure is there. It's been there. It's always been there. And then this whole donating for, patients who have cancer. Where is really like where
Well,
is that money?
thank you for bringing that up because I actually we'll stagger a little bit in this direction
It
because I like where you're going with this.
yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard about the guy that invented the hydrogen engine, like where it could run with water. That guy was killed back in the day. So there is proof that you're right. Sometimes in the world, when there is someone that finds a solution, big companies, big corporations are greedy and they will eliminate these solutions because think about it. If we
It's
had,
money.
yeah, exactly.
It's
It's all about
all
money.
money. When you go to a surgery, your organ, money. They want you to remove that.
Yeah,
It's all money. It
I
really
believe you
is.
100%.
Like if you look at Germany, they have free healthcare.
Yeah, a lot of countries
A
do.
lot of have
And
it, and then
A lot of European
right.
countries. Canada does. Listen, I listened to. I don't know if you're big on him, but I listened to an episode on Theo Vaughn. Do you know Theo Vaughn?
No,
He's a big comedian, also like a podcaster, and he had Bernie
not like
Sanders.
Tony Kills.
No, no, not Tony. No, not Tony Hinchcliffe. But that guy's like a. You know what? I'm not gonna defend him because that's not where my place is. But he is a fucking. He's always been an on the line comedian. Like
Okay.
but Theo Von, he added Bernie Sanders on his podcast, and the way Bernie Sanders explained like free healthcare, I wish I listened to this dude years ago. Like I
Mm.
regret because he has like, if he had his support, it'd be beautiful to bring free healthcare in the United States. We have the money to do it. But whatever. Let's get out of
Yeah,
this
I can't
politic talk. Let's
even
get out of
talk
this
about
politic
that
talks.
much because I don't know
Let
much
us
about
bring
it.
your topic about spirits and ghosts.
Boo.
Yeah, it's spooky season. It's
Spook.
spooky season.
Spook season.
All right. What honestly? What? Why did you want to talk about it?
Well, one, it's spooky season, so I thought it was like,
It
okay, we're
fit
gonna do a
fit the
podcast,
theme.
and Halloween was not so, not that long ago, so I was like, why not speak about that? I think I like to talk about it in general. I think it's a really nice experience to let the world know. A lot of people don't believe that spirits or ghosts exist, and to each his own. Like, I respect y'all, it's okay. But I do think they exist. My own family has experienced it. Multiple people in my family has experienced it. So
Have you experienced it? Is that
I
why?
have,
Let me ask you a good
um,
question then.
yeah.
Would you have still believed in it if you physically didn't experience it?
No, I
Mm,
totally understand it. Because, like, to me, I've always been a person where, like, I need to experience it to believe it. Like, I need
gotcha.
to be in the position to somewhat believe it. I could understand situations, but I could never be like, no, like, I get it because I experienced it.
Hmm.
So for me, I understand others who don't believe it because they haven't experienced it. But, I mean, because I have experienced it, I do believe in it. So,
Gotcha. Keep going. No, you're fine.
yeah. So, we're gonna start talking about this now.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you want me to give my answer, I 100% believe in it. I believe that there are spirits out in the world. I do believe in ghosts because I've experienced it myself in my old house in Island Park, which you actually used to come to all the time when we were in high school.
I think you even
So
told me
I'm
that
definitely gonna
once.
share
I
that story
forgot
later
about
on.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that story later on with
Okay.
you. But I kind of want to give you the floor, like with that. Like,
Okay.
what was your experience with dealing with a spirit? Or actually, let me also add to it. With spirits and ghosts, do you also believe there's demons out there too?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe it. I definitely do believe there's demons and their levels of how bad things could get.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll speak about my experience with my
Gotcha.
whole family. So we used to live in a house out in like pretty much Jamaica Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was a very beautiful house, very nice. We were living there for at least like I feel like it was like at least like I don't know, 3 years, 4 years or so, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I was 5 years old at the moment. And I don't know what point or how many years or when it took for my parents to see or hear things at the house. But at one point, I'll tell you guys like stories because I don't know when it started exactly.
I gotcha.
But let's say at 3 a.m., 3 a.m. every single night at 3 a.m. there was a baby crying. A
Mm.
baby would start crying. My parents didn't really think anything of it, but because my parents are from Ecuador, um, over there they've experienced paranormal activities as well.
Gotcha.
So when they were here, it wasn't that bad for them in that house, but they did question the baby crying exactly at 3 a.m. sharp. So they went downstairs to the owner of the house and they were like, do you guys have a baby here? Like, why is there a baby always crying at 3 a.m. sharp? They said, no, there's no baby. So at one point, that was the first thing that happened was a baby crying at 3 a.m. And then it became where my mom thought my dad was arriving from work home. So she would hear the keychains on the doorknob opening, closing the door, going up the stairs, opening the other door, and then he would stop. My mom was like, "Oh, your father's home. I'm going to go see, I'm going to go say hi to him, whatever." She goes down, there's no one home. Absolutely no one.
Mm.
So then that became something very repetitive. And then my parents and my whole family that lived in the house kind of
Mm.
just got used to that because it wasn't that bad.
Gotcha.
And then one day, my whole family, and when I say my family, it was like my mom, my dad lived in that house. It was my aunt, my other aunt, my uncle, and her daughter lived in that house too.
Gotcha.
They were all in the kitchen, having dinner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sleeping. I was in the attic sleeping. And my mom starts to hear like footsteps, footsteps going down the stairs. And she's like, "Oh, I think Jen woke up. I'm going to go see, I'm going to go see my daughter." My mom goes and she sees me completely knocked out on my bed. Like if, like I was sleeping the whole time.
So is your mom experiencing the most out of everyone?
Right. But then it all
Okay,
connects to me
keep going, keep
at
going.
one point.
Spooky.
So, they just heard a lot of things, things moving around. And then at one point, like, to cut it short, they had to move out the house. It was just like too much. So we moved out the house. So keep in mind, in that house, I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, around that age, right?
Gotcha.
Years go by later, and I am in middle school at that point, and I meet this girl, and she becomes like honestly like my best friend. Like we became really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to do like the science fair project together,
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, come over my house. She was like, we could work on it there. And, like it's close to the middle school. At the moment, I had already moved to Long Island. So I was like, whatever, let's go to your house. I go to her house, and it was the same house that I used to live at when I was 5 years old. It was that haunted house that I just spoke about.
Crazy.
It was that haunted house. And then when I saw her house
So you're
and
still living in Jamaica technically.
her,
You.
no,
But it's for
what's,
her, like in the area. The problem is still the same school.
yeah, so I was
School
still like,
district.
I was still in this, yeah, I was still there, but I had already
Gotcha.
moved to Long Island. But I
Makes
met this
sense.
girl, and then, randomly she tells me, let's work on this science fair project. And out of all the fucking houses around Jamaica, it happens to be the same house I grew up in that was haunted.
Mm,
And
spooky.
yeah, so I don't know. To me, that was like there was something drawing me back to the house. I don't know what it is. So, that wasn't only like the thing I've experienced either, like in Ecuador as well. Like my grandma, they're really weird out there, y'all. Like they have their own beliefs that I'm like, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah.
So at least where my grandma used to live in that block, all the houses would get robbed. And it was known to like, there was like robbers going in there, taking everything, money, whatever. My grandma believes in spirits. Like she
Mm-hmm.
prays for them to take care of her house.
Gotcha.
Again, it's a very different country from here, so what I'm gonna say is a little weird, but she somehow managed to have somehow bring someone bring ashes or bones from the cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
bring it to her house, and she would keep it there.
Gotcha.
And for her, she brought spirits in for them to take care of the house when she wasn't in the house.
Gotcha.
So, I used to live in her houses when she did that. She moved multiple times, but every house she constructed, did a new house, whatever it was, she always had some weird shit from the cemetery. And her houses were always haunted, but every time I would walk into the house because I knew it was haunted, and I live in America, so I would always go like during the summer or like here
Yeah.
and there. So when she built a new house, I was never in that house. But I went to the house and they already knew it was haunted. So I would always be like, hey, like, I'm the Jefa's granddaughter, so please don't do anything to me. And they never did. But if you ask my mom, my dad, everyone who went to my grandma's house, they all saw something, heard something, but I never did.
So your grandma was big into the.
My yeah, like my grandma and my dad's side too, like my grandpa's side. Like they
That's
were
crazy.
very big with like
Spirits and everything.
spirits. Like I think like I hear, and I'm sorry, I could be wrong, but I hear that in my dad's side, like my grandpa, at one point, he was like very dark,
Mm.
really, really dark when it comes to spirits, demonics, devil, and all that. So,
Got a weird question for you.
yeah.
Um, why do you think that there are certain people like your grandma or like you mentioned your dad's side of the family that want to connect so badly with these people or with these spirits?
Honestly, I feel like for my grandpa, I think he was always involved in like, he didn't have the greatest influences,
Yeah,
and then from there, I think he just started doing dark things, like, like
gotcha.
again, I could be wrong about my grandpa, but I heard those things about him that he's seen the devil, that this, and
Hmm.
that. So to me,
Interesting.
but
You believe in the Ouija board and all that stuff?
absolutely, my father played the Ouija board.
Really?
My father was supposed to die like at least 7 times. He told me. And I have stories if you want me to tell you about that. Excuse
Really?
me. Yeah, so my father, when he was young, he played the Ouija board at least like 3 times.
Because of his dad, which is your grandpa.
Well, honestly, my
Curiosity,
dad
right?
was a curious kid too.
But he saw his dad doing this. I'm sure
I'm
it
not
was
sure if you ever saw like grandpa do it, but I think, like I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe he did. And
that's
my
what
dad played it.
sparked his curiosity, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. So I'll tell you guys some stories. There was this one time where like after playing the Ouija board, uh he happened to be, like just walking around somewhere like in let's just call it like I don't know where he was, but there was like quicksand there.
Okay.
Quicksand. And he was just walking around, and then he happened to fall into quicksand, and it was sucking him, sucking him, sucking him, sucking him. And there was no one around, no one to
Hmm.
help him. So he had to find a way out, or else he was going to drown in the quicksand.
Yeah.
he happened to find a really thick like piece of like he pretty much got into like the tree and he pulled himself out.
Gotcha.
That was one time, and then there was this one time that really was really fucked up where like he was playing in the rooftop.
Or you're just telling us like moments that he really was like about to like go.
Go. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it
This
had a connection with the spirits and stuff. That got me.
well because he played the Ouija board.
You feel like he
All these
activated
well
this
he said
instances.
that. He said that after he played the Ouija board,
These are
he was
random things that
there was
happen
a
to him.
lot of things that he was pretty much supposed to die, which is I'm going to go to this story now.
Gotcha.
So he was in the attic. Not the, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, not the attic. The roof. He was doing something and he was I guess on the edge of the roof and he
Hmm.
was about to fall. So if he would have fallen, he would have hit the floor. He would have died. It was like 7 floors up,
Gotcha.
8 floors up. And he grabbed himself from the electric wires and he got electrocuted.
Holy
And then
shit.
he was in a coma for like 6, 7 months. And then he woke up.
Holy
But
fuck.
then my dad, like if like you see, I don't know if you've ever
I
have
think I
you met
remember
my
your dad.
dad?
I
But
think so.
so one of my dad's hands, like they're fried. So here, like his fingers are fried, so they go down to here, and then his veins here are fried.
Mm,
They had to cut a piece of his skin to cover part of the guy was fried, like it was really bad.
yeah.
So that after all that happened, he went to, church and he said what he did and he was sorry and all that and then everything kind of just stopped.
Mm.
But, it's just weird. I never really understood a lot of things cuz it's like my aunts, my uncles from my dad's side of the family, they've all experienced paranormal. Every single one of them. My dad has in total 13 siblings. 13.
That's
And
crazy.
then my cousins, so say like me, my cousins, then we started to experience things. And I mean, every single one of them, it's just not like one, two, like all of us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
It's just
I
weird.
trust me. I believe you only because I've my family has experienced it. I've personally experienced it. The one story I can share with you from Island Park. This is where I used to live when I was going to high school. I'll never forget. I was probably around 10 or 12,
Mm-hmm.
around that age. And I remember our second floor used to always be rented to either my sister or my brother. Like either my sister would live there for a couple months and my brother would move there for a couple months. But I remember there was a couple, maybe like 2 months, we couldn't get it rented for some odd reason. And my sister wasn't there, my brother was there, but they had keys to the upstairs.
Hmm.
So it was one day, I remember, because I was a kid, I was a night owl, so I used to play video games till really late. I keep hearing footsteps on the
Absolutely
second
not.
floor, you know? And
Christ.
I'm thinking like, oh, one of my brother, like either my brother got really drunk
Yeah.
and he just came, he doesn't want to show face, so he just went upstairs, or my sister's like drunk, who knows, whatever. So then my dad for some reason wakes up in the middle of the night and he has to pee, and he's like, W, what are you still doing up? And I'm like, oh, I'm just playing some video games. And I don't know what it was for me to say something, but I was like, just to let you know, like I call my brother Chino. Like Chino's upstairs. I think he's drunk. He's probably sleeping. So my dad is a concerned dad. Hears that, and he
Absolutely
goes, "Oh,
fucking not.
let me go see if my son's okay because if he's drunk, I want to make
Chino's
sure."
not fucking there, is he?
No, he's not. No, so well, then we're gonna get to that part.
Fuck my soul.
We go up. My dad goes upstairs, and I remember because I don't know if you recall like when you entered my kitchen door because that was the only place you could enter. It was my kitchen door, and then it was a living room to the left. There was a wall. Let's say this is my living room. This is the wall, but this is the wall for the stairs to go upstairs, right?
I used to love where you lived too because you were just by the water as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was right
I
by the water.
remember. I remember.
So I hear my dad going upstairs. And this one made me laugh. I don't. I apologize to my pops and also to the spirit because he was a good spirit. It's a good spirit, by the way. At least I hope so. I remember my dad.
I'm so scared.
He's walking upstairs and he opens the door
Oh
because
my.
everything you can hear, everything creaks in the house. My house was really old, and when he opens the door, I just hear, like when someone gets scared and you could tell someone gets scared, like, so they'll, you hear the stairs when they're going
Yeah,
downstairs.
yeah, yeah,
My
yeah, yeah.
dad's a viejito. Like, even at that time, I think
Oh
my dad was
nah.
probably like in his late 50s, maybe mid
Mm-hmm.
50s.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing this man like run down the stairs. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, oh my God, my brother, like, is he passed out on the floor? Is he dead? Like, I'm thinking the worst. So my dad comes back into the kitchen. He's like, David. I'm like, what? He's like, no one's upstairs. And I'm like,
Fuck me.
that's exactly what I basically said as a kid. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So no, Dad, I heard. And then this is the part that spooked me out. He goes, no, David, I know you're not lying because I heard going upstairs. I heard noise. And he's like,
Who the fuck?
so my dad wakes up my mom because my mom gets now because now my dad's more of a person like because I think they've dealt with spirits and stuff like that, but my mom's
They
really
definitely have.
yeah, but my mom's more comfortable with it, which is
Hmm.
weird. It's always the mom. It's
I'm
always
comfortable with them too,
yeah.
not to
So
say
it's always
anything,
my
but
yeah. It's always the mom. So so my father wakes up my mother, right? And when he wakes up my mom's kind of calm about it.
mm.
He explains to her everything, and obviously my mom believes in ghosts and spirits. I truly do believe that my mom does. She's said it many a times. Um, so my mom goes, "All right, relax, everybody. If they were bad spirits, they would have let us known by now. They would have done something to fuck with us. If all they're doing is just moving around while the house is empty, like because I told you, second floor hadn't had anyone occupied it, it's normal." So we agree with my mom. All right, we're not gonna fucking freak out about it. All I do is put up my volume to my TV, because you could hear foot creaks as if like someone's awake, right? And it's happened for a couple of weeks, and we really want to get the second place like rented. So I think my brother ended up coming back the second time. We didn't tell him about it though. So when there's people there, they don't make noise. When there's not people there, they make the noise. And then here's the background to the story about the thing that's gonna maybe give people goosebumps. So when we had bought the house, our neighbor's sister lived in the house, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she was selling her house, which is our neighbor's sister. She was selling the house. She sold the house to us. We ended up buying the house. We end up finding later on from our neighbor. I'm like, because there was a big question as to why now, like why is this happening now, right? Because we had house maybe 2 3 years and nothing crazy had been happening.
Mm-hmm.
But why now? Is it just because it's empty? Like, I was always curious because as a kid, I was always like, why now? So my mom's ends up, because my mom remembers the conversation. So my mom ends up finding out through our neighbor that his sister had passed away from
Oh,
cancer.
absolutely not.
So we really put it back together and
Wow.
we're like, she probably died and came back to her house. She's probably spent a majority of her life there, So and it creeped me out at first, but then as I got used to it, and my mom reassured us that there's nothing to freak out about, because if there were bad people
They
or
would
bad
have.
spirits,
It would have been.
they would have done something to upset us. But as long as we don't upset them, they don't upset us. You live your life normally, and that was my personal experience. And I'll never forget one more story I want to share because this one made me fucking go crazy. I'll never forget my uncle was telling me. I think it was my uncle. It was my uncle or my cousin. No, I'm pretty sure it's my uncle because I remember I wouldn't have believed my cousin. It was my uncle, and he tells me about the story about our tío that had passed away. His name is Marcelino, and yeah. So when he had passed away, it was a sad story because my uncle got ran over by a truck.
Mm.
He was 15 years old. He was my dad's brother, younger brother. It was
Wow.
a tragic death. There was a lot of people that were mourning his death, but because of the tragic way he passed away, it was a lot. For some of my uncles, it was pretty hard to get over. So there's one uncle, the day they bury him, it's his anniversary a year later. He's like getting really fucked up in the cemetery because out of respect, you go to the cemetery, you offer in Peru, we offer the beer, we offer the flowers, we offer the prayer. But my uncle is the only one that didn't leave. So everyone had left. He's like, no, I'm going to stay here with my brother. I'm going to spend the rest of the night until they kick me out. So that's what happens. The security guard, in Peru, we call it el huachiman. But the security guard comes out and he's like, "Yo, señor, te tienes que ir. You got to get out of here. Like, it's closing time. If you want to get fucked up outside the gate when we close."
Right.
So exactly what happened. So my uncle's getting really fucked up. He's not leaving the cemetery area. My uncle's like, "Nah, this is my brother. Like, I'm gonna go back to his tomb. I don't give a fuck what happens. I don't care what they say. I'm out." So he goes over the fucking fence. Like there's this big gate. Goes over the gate, goes back to my uncle's tomb, and he's drinking and he's having a good time with my other uncle. Sorry, so it was two people. It was him and my other uncle. They're all getting fucked up
Christ.
still. They light up a little fire, so they're having a nice little cozy night, and they didn't think anyone was there, and there wasn't supposed to be anyone there, right? Because it's a cemetery that's closed.
Oh my God.
So then him and I guess it was my other uncle too. They're there, and they see someone come through with a flashlight. And they think it's a security guard. It's like, "Fuck, we're about to get that, whatever." But they're fucked up. They're fucking hammered. And the guy comes over. It's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, I told you. It's like, it's closed. Like, what are you guys doing here? It's like, "Yo, come on, man, chill out. Like, this is my brother. He died a year ago. It's his anniversary. We're just trying to relax and chill." And the guy's, "Well, lucky for you, I'm the owner." He's like, "This is a really sad story you just told me about your brother. Let me sit down and have a couple beers with you guys. If we're gonna share it,
Oh
let's
my
share it
God.
together, right?"
I already know where this went.
So they're like, "I
Ugh.
bet." So they're drinking and everything, and they're having a good time. And then the owner goes, "All right, guys. Well, you have my blessing. Stay here. It's a beautiful time to spend with you guys. I gotta go. I got a lot of responsibilities to do. It was a pleasure drinking some beers with you guys." And the guy's like, "Yeah, man. Thank you so much." Guy leaves. Now, maybe an hour later, they pass by. There's another guy that comes in with the flashlight, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Didn't I kick you guys out like hours ago?" And they're like, "Nah, don't worry about it, bro." He's like, "The owner came through and he said we could chill here." Security guard literally looks at them and he goes, "What are you talking about?" Like, the owner came and he says we're chilling. He says we're good to chill. He's like, "What's the owner's name?" He tells him, he's like, "That's not the fucking owner." And he also tells him, he's like, "All right, guys, before we all get out of here," because now he's like, he didn't even want to be there. He goes, "What was the guy wearing?" And he goes, "The guy was wearing a white suit." I got chills too. Um, and he's like, "What do you mean he's wearing a white suit?" He's like, "He drank some beers with us." He looks down and there's a pile of beers next to them. There's a pile of beers next to that guy. And you could tell they're not lying because it's now another pile of beers to where that guy was possibly sitting. So then he goes, "Well, there's no one here. I'm the only security guard. I'm the night guard." He's like, "Nobody is here. I did my rounds. You're the only two here." When he said that, all three of them ran outside, ran out of the cemetery. And they truly believe that the person that they probably saw was either a spirit
Right.
or my uncle joining them. And the funny thing is, the one thing they can never recall anymore from that story, or even couldn't recall telling that guy, what his face looked like. They can never say any details about his face. So he showed from here to there, they remember exactly what he was wearing. From what the ring that he had in his finger, from the watch, from the suit, but they cannot recall the man's face they saw. And after that, I was so spooked out because I was a kid too, listening to my uncle. And my uncle's like, "Yep, this happened to one of your uncles," and I'm like, "That's fucking spooky."
That's spooky as hell.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that at all. But thank God, thank Lord, thank the God that I've only, if I did encounter anything, which was the Island Park one. There's one more story, but I don't really want to share that one because that one's spookier.
Well, say it.
It was simplify story, not to exaggerate it, but you remember Snowball, my old dog, the
Yes.
poodle? Yeah.
Yes, I remember Snowball.
So,
Can I?
I remember one time Snowball wanted to get out of my room so badly, and I was wondering, I'm like, "Ah, whatever, get the fuck out of here." So I opened the door and I let him out, and he starts barking in the middle of the fucking night, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this dog barking at, bro?" And this is just like maybe a year after my grandpa had passed away. And I remember, did you see my Instagram story about like how my mom puts all the pictures together? She puts like candles and everything for the dead. Like that's the
No, I
way.
have not.
Any birthday or anniversary of their death, my mom will put out pictures and candles out of respect and basically
Right,
show,
I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, admiration, love. So she did the same thing for my gramps, and my grandpa was very important to our family. Um, so I remember it was a year anniversary of his death. It was in August. I'll never forget, and my dog is just barking. So I'm not thinking anything of it because I'm a kid with my Xbox 360. I have no care in the world why he's barking. So I let him out into the living room and he starts barking. So now I'm getting pissed off because he usually, after a couple of barks, he stops.
Right.
So when I go out to the kitchen, I go to my living room. I had an L-shaped sofa like this. So on this part of the sofa, he's there and he's barking at the wall. And when I go and look closer, like, do you know like when particles of dust like
Yes,
land on
yes,
something?
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
That's exactly what's happening right now. There's particles of dust just in the air, and they're like, but the way they surround this thing, I can see like a hand caressing my dog.
Mm-mm.
So I get spooked out and I fucking run to my room. And I'm fat as fuck, so I run to my
Mm.
room, so I'm making noise, and I slam my door. This makes my mom come out. And mom was like, ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? And I'm like, Mom, Snowball's barking at something, and something like touched him. So then she looks at me, and she's like, okay, go to your room. I'll hang out with Snowball. And then I go out maybe like 20 minutes later because I never heard my mom go back into her room. And I see where Snowball's at, and I see my mom sitting next to Snowball, and I can just feel my mom admiring whatever was there, sitting it with peace. And it creeps me out to. It doesn't creep me out in a bad way. It creeps me out in a good way. I feel like low key that was my gramps visiting her and just saying like I'm here, like thank you for the flower, like thank you for the candles, like, and he loved my mom. My mom had such an admiration for my grandpa. Like you have no idea. Till today, she remembers when he died. She admired that man so much. That was her everything. Not saying that my grandma wasn't, but like like, we have an attachment to a
Yeah.
certain parent.
Yeah, so I have it for my father. I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. So there was such an important bond there with him, and she should have been creeped out, but she wasn't. As if she knew. She was right next to my dog where he was barking, and it now when I realize it, like it could have been Snowball like trying to wake up my mom, or just barking at a stranger he's never met before.
Right.
Because they say that dogs and babies see spirits and
Right.
ghosts.
Right, 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 right.
But obviously, the reason why people believe that is because once you grow out of that baby stage, you don't remember anything.
Mm.
So and dogs can't talk.
And there's like one thing like to relate to what your mom was so like, okay with it and all that. I feel that with me, if I was to be okay with spirits and all that, they would show themselves to me. But
Yeah,
I have a line of respect where I always say, "Look, I respect you. I believe you exist. Just do not show up to me. Do not scare me. Do not show me something that's rolling and no one's there." And you know what? Because of all those things I've said every time I've went to a haunted house, I've been the only fucking person in that house that has never seen anything. But my whole family, they've seen, I mean, the houses were really haunted.
yeah,
Uh my mom had a ghost wake her up by blowing her ear, like doing like and just waking up like that. Or my aunt, she was walking to the kitchen and she saw like a ball rolling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Excuse me. But I would say to myself, I've never experienced it, and and we go back to when I was in that haunted house when I was 5 years old.
yeah.
I myself never saw something. I even asked my mom years later. I was like, "Mom, like when I was little, did you see me talking to someone that was not there, but you saw me talking to someone?" And she said, "No, I'd never seen you do that." So I feel like because everyone has seen everything, but because I have such a big belief in them that I
Yeah.
respect them so much and I don't want to see them, I think they don't hurt me. But if I want to find out, I will find out. If I really wanted to,
You feel like there's a bridge that you can always open.
I could always open that bridge. And
Yeah.
that's the bridge I never want to open
That
because
happens a lot though. You know what's weird? I've talked to so many people, just like with your experiences, with my experiences. People tell me they communicate, they feel like and sometimes we could be looking for something that's not even there. But I truly don't believe that with certain people that I've experienced loss. Happens a lot with loss because there's such like a hole in your heart when you do lose somebody so important to you that you know like you notice the small things like living in your house or living in a place for so long, the patterns of your home, and when something starts happening that's not the usual, it's like, yo, who is here, what presence, what energy is here, and who's trying to communicate with me? Because I've talked to people in the past where they told me that a certain person has passed away, and they feel like they're communicating with the lights, like they know that there's this one bulb, right? Everyone always has
Holy
that one
shit.
bulb in their house that flickers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want me to get you another one?
Oh, just a little bit.
I got you.
It's another reason why I don't really like to watch movies when it comes to demonic stuff.
Oh hell yeah, no,
Like
I'm
say
not
like
big
The
with that.
Conjuring,
I fucking don't like that.
The
I don't like watching that shit alone.
Exorcism. I do think that that scares your soul. Your what is it called? Your
Your
holy
Holy Spirit?
Holy Spirit. I'm so sorry,
No, it's okay.
guys. I drank just a little bit, but your Holy Spirit. I do think that when like you watch things as such, not only are you attracting it, but then you're also
What is it that
it's just
religious in the religious line? You sow what you reap, right?
yeah.
So it's like you get what you asked for.
Exactly. And
You
that's
know?
like that and you know one of the things like I will say like even though I tell you like I don't want to welcome that, I respect it and all that, but I am such fascinated in like the
That
dark
stuff.
world.
Yeah.
I like the witch stuff. It's
It's
weird.
always they've always put it out in an intriguing way out in the world.
Yeah, like I've always honestly like I've had a huge interest in that, but I never went for that because my whole family were all Catholic and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
religious, believe in God and all that.
Well,
But
if you
don't
believe in God, you believe in the devil,
right, but
right?
you know,
You have to know. Everyone should know that. Like you're not ignorant to one or the other. Like if there's a God, there's a devil.
I mean, we could directly connect this to the P Diddy case as well.
Well,
I'm just
that
saying.
guy's just a piece of shit. I
I
don't know
mean,
why.
if
I fucking hate that guy so much. Like, you know what? Let me not say that.
I'm
I
not,
dislike him so much for the dark stuff that he's done in this world.
but you know what song we should play right now?
No, no play songs. We
Wait,
get
why not?
copyrights.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
yeah.
The one song I would play right now is 50 Cent PIMP.
Why would you play that? Is that just to make you happy? What does that do for us right now? I did not think you were going there at all. What did PIMP do right now?
Well, 50 like did not fuck with Diddy. He was always saying that Diddy was such a bad
No,
person.
I agree with you, but he doesn't say that in PIMP.
Fuck it, that's his best song. I'm gonna
Okay,
honor
okay,
50
okay.
Cent like
That got
that.
me. That was really random. I was like, what the fuck does P I'm like, have I not listened to the right PIMP? Okay, that was pretty funny. But no, man. I 100% agree with you when it comes to spirits and that stuff because I truly do believe in it. I 100% believe in that stuff.
No, I do, and I'm always so careful. Like, have you ever been to
Hell
Kings
yeah.
Park?
No, fuck that. I'd
I
never
went to
go in that
Kings
area.
Park.
Nah, I
No,
don't
you know
fuck
the
with
Kings Park Psychiatric Hospital.
I don't mess with that
You know what's
because
funny? You know how I went with that?
uh,
Lilo.
yeah.
It was Lilo, me, my cousin Mateo, and my friend Brandon, and we went there. And honestly, like, we were young, dumb, and stupid. That's what it was.
Hey, listen,
Young, dumb,
a
and
lot of people
stupid.
go to that place. I was too pussy.
Now, shit, knowing the shit I fucking did at that age, I'm like, what are you, stupid? Like, why would you ever fucking do that?
Hey, listen, it's a learning experience.
Yo,
I was just too scared.
thank God.
Cause
Papito Dios protected me because we went to the rooftop.
y'all are wild.
Yeah, we were like,
Y'all are wild.
we went so many fucking floors. You don't understand. Kings Park is so fucking big. And those stairs, I thought they would never fucking end. And the worst part is every
I have a
floor.
question for you though.
Yeah.
That place exists.
Right.
Why haven't they torn it down?
I'm not sure.
You're crazy.
Sometimes I wonder if at one point the healthcare is going to realize that we do need psychiatric places. And
But they
maybe
were doing some fucked up shit there supposedly in
they
the
were,
past.
but now we're no longer in that era. Now we're here.
I
So
mean,
you know,
still though,
to me, it's like the place is like has been abandoned so long for you to remodel the whole place. Is it gonna cost you more?
it could even cost cheaper just to tear it down.
Tear it exactly,
Why haven't they?
exactly.
That's a conspiracy theory
Why
right there.
haven't they tear it down? I mean, it's
What
like
kind
you
of dark
know.
energy is over there or who owns the land that's not allowing it for it? They don't
I
get
mean,
it.
isn't it? I
They
mean,
don't get any
I
money
would
from
think it would
there.
be like government,
They
wasn't
don't get
it?
any money from there. Well, yeah. If it is
I
government,
mean,
what
Kings
purpose
Park
does it
is
have there?
crazy big, like crazy, crazy big. I don't know what purpose it has, let's be honest, but of course people trespass all the time. That shit's weird, dude.
Wouldn't you want to, if you want to stop the trespassing, just tear it down?
Money?
Yeah,
Maybe
like
to
this.
tear it down costs a lot of money.
Like,
But it's like, really? Like, we probably do have the money to do that.
we definitely do. I 100% know that we do.
But it's like, you
You know what
know,
I'm saying? That was like a little weird.
but what do you think? Like,
They
why,
don't get any
well,
money off
well,
it.
well, why do you think they don't tear it down? What is your thought?
Whoever owns that land is a dark human fucking being. Or there's a reason there's not. Maybe it could be nothing. But I mean, doing nothing to it either. I mean, like, what is it? What is
I
that
mean,
purpose of it?
I mean, there is no, I mean, really, there isn't, but vandalizing, going into it, trespassing, doing terrible things in there.
Yeah, homeless. A lot of homeless people. A lot of people.
I mean, a lot of everything, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people go
A
there to
lot of
do
everything. I
stuff.
had one guy who told me, and he was my friend. He went to Freeport High School, and he told me that he went to Kings Park when he was fucked up by like he drank a lot. He was drunk.
Hmm.
So him and his friends went to Kings Park when they were drunk. They started to hear gunshots, boom, boom, boom. So it was like boom, boom, boom. Here I come. Ready or not, here I come.
Mm.
Ready or not, here I come.
You know, it also is like a big place. There could be people just there trying to fuck with you too.
There is everything in there,
Yeah, I've
especially
heard
like
people going there and encountering other people that are just trying to look for something
people
too.
die in there. I'm
Really?
sure there is people that die in there, but that shit is
Maybe.
crazy.
Maybe.
I mean, sacrifices. That place is so big, Puka. Even I feel like even if you want to run away and escape, you have a fucking while to run and escape if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, no,
Because you
truly, I
can't. It's
believe it.
big. Kings Park was, I mean, please, to the public, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Kings Park, the psychiatric center, was built to have pretty much like everything around so that they don't have to leave the place itself. So
I know very little about the past, but I do hear certain stories. Maybe I should look into it after this. Not too much, but you know what I mean. The
if
past
you
of
were
it.
to go, there was this one time where I took my ex-husband to Kings Park because I was like, he wants to see it. He was like, oh, like I want to see it, whatever. And I was like, I guess like the best time to go to Kings Park is like, at night if you want to be really spooked. So we took like this road. I feel like it couldn't. This road was just very like slim,
Hmm.
and it was all trees, 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 and there
Yeah.
was no light. Like your only light was your car.
Yeah, yeah.
But it got to a point where like I personally, I feel like I don't get scared that easily,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to spirits.
Gotcha.
But there was something about that road that there was no light, no nothing. It was just my car's lights. And even my ex-husband, he was like, he's like, I think we should like turn around. This is like really weird. And I'm like, no, we're almost there. And he was like, no, like we should really turn around. This is really weird. So when I was even trying to make a U-turn, you don't know how many times I had to reverse. It was like probably 15 times because the road was
You
so
were so narrow.
narrow. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so narrow that I thought me doing that, someone was going to attack us
No,
because
I
it took
believe
me
you.
so long to do that. I mean, but, you know,
I trust me. I believe. Just the other day when I was delivering food in Bayville in Locust Valley, it's so dark, so fucking scary over there. But I'm just like, and I know what you mean because the only source of lightness is your car, and you know what, this is how where you know if you're truly in a dark area when your car's light doesn't even illuminate that much, that it's just
mm-hmm.
like you
And even,
realize how much darkness this
and then
is.
you turn off your car's light, nothing,
Darkness. You can't even look
dark.
at the person
You
in front of you.
can't see anything. That's the
Yeah.
most crazy part to
Yeah.
me. It's so fucking scary. It really
Yeah.
is, especially like at nighttime.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, fuck that place. I would never go there.
Yeah, I went there too many times
Yeah.
to be honest, but I mean, and even when you go inside Kings Park, like you see like charts, like when it was actually like
Hmm.
open. I mean, you see a lot of crap
Let's
in
play a
there.
funny game. The funny game is now that you've comfortable, I can tell obviously we're both comfortable.
Okay.
How long do you think has passed? Let's just see. I like to play this game with people.
45 minutes.
Really? It's been like an hour and 10.
Has it?
Told you,
Wow.
it just happens naturally. You start talking, it's
Well,
crazy.
yeah, I drank a little more, so.
Yeah, it's all right. Let's move. Do you have anything more to touch up on spirits or ghosts? Because the next part of the question, the next topic is kind of like deep. It's like some real shit if you want to share. It depends if you want to share or not.
Okay, let me see. No, I just do want to say that I feel like I have a very connection to the spiritual world. Um, Yeah, and I don't want to fuck around and find out because if I really wanted to, I
I mean,
probably
you've
could.
poked. You've poked a couple times, Jen. You've poked a couple times. I
I
don't
have
know.
too many fucking stories to
All
tell you.
right, I'm
This whole
just telling you.
podcast would take over my stories,
Well, don't worry.
but
You're gonna be a returning guest.
no, am I?
Yeah, absolutely. This episode's
Okay.
going pretty well.
Mm.
I like it so far.
Let's go to the next
Yeah.
topic. How about that?
All right. The next topic is obstacles. I want you to see. I mean, you kind of mentioned it with the COVID thing, but I kind of want you to go now in a different route. It's up to you where you want to go with it. But I'd like to. I would love for you to share something that you went through that was really tough for you that you overcame, or maybe you're still battling, and share it. Because that's like the main topic of this season is because I want maybe someone might be going through what you went through or are going through, and they can relate to something that you're saying.
I think one of the things that was really hard for me to go through was being an only child.
Interesting. I didn't see that coming. Ooh, I like that. That's good. That's a good fucking spinner. I've never had that.
Yeah, an only child. So I feel like as an only child, I mean, I'll break it down to little pieces. People who think I'm an only child think I'm very spoiled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
Do
a
you believe?
given.
Yeah, I was about to say. Do you believe majority of
I do.
only
I
childs
do
are?
believe that because I'm an only child. What else are my parents gonna give to? Who else are they gonna give it to? Just to me. So at one
Exactly.
point, like, yes, I am spoiled. Like, I do think that an only child is spoiled. That's like for sure. Um, but I think we deal with a lot of things alone,
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for being an only child because being able to battle with things alone completely has made me the person I am.
Gotcha.
I think because I'm an only child, I have the role I have at my job. I feel it connects to a lot of things. So I would not change anything. But I do feel like being an only child, when it comes to being alone, you're actually really alone. Because I always say, like, I always hear, like, my friends or, like, my cousins talk about them having arguments with their parents, and they could just simply go to their sibling's house. Be like, hey, like, can I come over? I argued with mom. I can't do that. I was either kicked out or, to a point where I could have been homeless and all that, and there was multiple times where I encountered myself in that situation where I was living in my car at one point.
I didn't think of it like that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
but that it also depends on your parents, but I have Latino parents, and you know how Latino parents could
Emotion,
be.
emotion. It's
it's
very raw
it's
emotion.
Latino parents expect a lot from you. I mean, at least my parents did. They always wanted me to be a doctor because my dad's family, they're doctors, they're veterinarians and all that. So I had that big expectation on me. But I feel like itself just being an only child, you deal with everything alone. Like alone. Like they say like yeah, your friends are there. Yeah, your friends are there to a certain limit to as much as they could be as well. They
Mm-hmm.
have their own issues. That's something someone has to respect too, which I always have. Or at one point I understood it and I grew from that and I actually understood that. But I think being an only child just really made me realize how many things I actually do alone. And to other people that have siblings, they're like, oh, you're doing that alone? Or you go to bars alone? Or you go to the movies alone? That's so weird. I would never do that. And I'm like, at
Well,
times that makes me feel weird. And I'm like,
but it's
but
not weird. That's self love.
yeah. So at times, and then like, I always remember where I'm like, you know what? Like, the fact that I could do so many things, I've taken trips alone. I mean, I've been to California alone.
Mm.
I've done a lot of things alone, and I am thankful that I could do these things alone because when it comes, you know, doing these things alone makes me come off as
What do you think? Selfish?
selfish.
The only
Exactly.
reason I'm saying that is because I have friends that are only childs that described it like this
No,
before.
they do. People think I'm selfish. People think I only think about myself. I'm only for it myself. And
Do you think
honestly,
you have love for others?
I have so much love for others. I mean,
Well, keep going.
no, I do. I think I really do care for others. And even with like my job that I have right now, um, I have a lot of people under me, below me, I'm sorry, that I'm in charge of and I have to make sure they have certain things done and all that. And I've always been a person where I'm not gonna nag you as long as you tell me what's going on. I
You
understand.
want open
I want an
communication.
open communication. Just tell me what's going on. But if you don't tell me what's going on, then I might be a nagger, this and that. Where are we I think I'm losing track to where
No,
we're
it's
going with this
okay. You're talking
conversation.
about the being an only
Being
child,
only
the
child.
struggles, the
Right.
good things. People
So
called you selfish. but you feel
But
like you
right.
have the attributes still being
Oh, being an only child has made me been able to be independently alone. It
and being
being
okay with it.
yeah, so it had helped. It's helped me with my jobs. I mean, I
Yeah,
personally do think I at one point maybe could have my own company, maybe be able to direct something, because I came from the ER experience dealing with death and life and then directing I don't want to say I was not a director. I don't want to say that, but there was multiple times in the ER where I was alone and I did not have management. And there was a lot of death and life situations that I had to use my critical thinking and act upon it and hope that that was the best decision I could have done for the patient.
gotcha.
So, yeah, I feel like I've dealt with a lot of things alone, it being work ethics as well, that honestly I feel like whoever hires me at whatever position they give me, I'm
You'll
going to
excel.
succeed. Because the fact that I was in the ER and saw so many deaths and had to translate when people were on their last breath and so many things,
Hmm. Well, let me ask you a good question. Do you think that you would have benefited from having a brother or sister, older or younger?
I always said I wanted to have an older brother.
Mm-hmm. To be like a protector, kind of.
Yes, absolutely. Because I've always been the protector of my family.
Yeah. The one thing I'll agree with you on, because I'm not really an only child, but I grew up like an only child, kind of. Not really. Like it's weird where because my years apart from my brothers and sisters are way like the closest brother to me is probably
45 or something?
yeah, he's like 16, 17 years apart,
Okay.
18 maybe. So that's my closest sibling to me. The only benefit I did have growing up was that I did have a different point of view attacking my mom and dad's challenge. You know,
Exactly.
so
With
that was
me,
beneficial for me growing up in my later
and
stages.
and that's why like I always say like the first child always has it the really rough.
Yeah,
Then comes the middle one, then comes the last one. The last one's always like, all right, whatever.
yeah.
But,
With you, it was the first. You're the first of
I was
everything.
and I don't blame my parents. It was like, the first kid, they don't have a fucking
It's
manual to be a
tough.
parent. And
It's
I
tough.
get it, but I will say like
Because even like what you were saying before was beautiful. Like even when your one parent A would scold you, right? And maybe they felt like shit, they still had their couple to talk to at night. It's like, do you think I did that? Was that correct with Jen? Like, should I have done
but I
better?
don't have
But she
that.
didn't have that.
And that was like the biggest issue I think, like in my family because I
Like,
mean,
if you, let me ask you a cool question. If
right.
you do decide to change your mind and become a mother in the future, right? You always are you gonna raise the only child, or are you gonna make sure you have more than one if it does happen?
I think for the sake of my child and when they're alone and depressed and they don't want to go to mom, I would want to have two kids.
Yeah, that's
Because I will always say, like, I will always be your friend there's a line to me.
exactly. It's
That's a
hard.
thing. It's hard for me because
There
I
has to
feel
be a
like I
line.
could be the best mom ever, but the moment you lie to me, the moment you don't
You
have
gotta
that
put parent
communication
pants
with
on.
me, I don't fuck with that because I'm such a open person, even when it comes to anything and everything, even my job ethics. Like at my job, like I tell the guys, I'm like, I understand the job site is so busy, but you give me a date when you could submit a certain
So and so, yeah.
certification. But once you give me that date and you don't submit that certifications, I'm gonna get fucking tight because I'm giving you the control. You're controlling my job in a sense. You're giving me the when you could do it at your timing.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
So to me, like I'm so open with people and communication that when somebody does not communicate or tell me things as they should, I don't take it the right way. So we could go down to horoscopes. I'm an Aries.
Yeah, don't take me too much into it because I have no idea about
You're a
horoscopes.
December?
I'm not March. I think we're the same thing.
March what?
21st. I'm the day that after the thing that
Yeah. So
what okay, explain to me. Explain. Let's go through a little tunnel with horoscopes. What does an Aries feel like? What is the definition of an Aries?
Aries is the first horoscope, like the leader, the first one out of all the horoscopes.
Aries? So
Aries.
us.
Well, I don't know if you're an
I
Aries.
mean, March 21st is the day that it
You're
turns.
probably both. You're like Aries and something
So the
else. I'm not that good at
20th is still a Pisces. I'm the 21st, the first day of Aries.
That's the first. That's the first day of Aries.
Yeah,
I could be so.
March
Why don't you
21st.
look at? Hang
Let's
on, we're gonna look it up right
yeah,
now. Hang on a second.
Google it.
So March
Fact
twenty
check me.
first.
Fact
Hang on a
check me.
second.
She's the fact checker.
March 21st horoscope. And you know what?
Or just check the first day of Aries.
Hang on a second.
Hey Alexa, what's the first day of Aries?
Hey, I'm already the Aries. You're an Aries. You're an Aries. All right, you're an Aries. He's an Aries. Okay,
Alexa, cancel.
maybe that's why you get along really well. So you should know what it is to be an Aries.
What is it?
To me,
Yeah, please. No, well, not to you, but to what an Aries is
to
supposed to be.
me, honestly, to me, and I feel like a lot of Aries will understand this, but Aries are known to have a very strong personality.
Yeah.
Like we speak our mind. And we don't mean it in a way where we're trying to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way we say it
That
because
kind of
we're
makes
so
sense. I know a
real.
lot of people like
We're
that.
just so like real. And I've struggled. Like my mom has told me before, she was like, you don't have to be that honest. You can lie a little bit. And I'm like, so don't ask me to be honest.
Mm.
Like I've had so many issues where my friends, they ask me, does this look good on me? And I'm like,
No,
no, I think something else could look better. But that's being rude. It comes
but that's your
to,
truth.
but that's the truth. And me being an Aries, I feel like Aries have just a strong personality. We're just very strong with what we do. We're strong with what we love. We're strong with what we believe. We're strong with everything. We're
Gotcha.
strong with what we believe.
I think so. That's a good trait to have as an Aries.
So I feel like as an Aries, you're very good at being authoritative. You're very good at being
Mm.
a CEO. You're very good at being a manager, a boss.
It's me right now.
Hey, are you? What are you doing? What
we'll
are you
talk about
doing?
it after.
I'll
The
tell you what.
camera's off.
Well, is it?
No, I'll tell you when camera's off. I said.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like. I don't mention my job at all on this.
Is it
I
not
say I work
good?
at Home Depot. That's all I say. Well, actually, I say that I left Home
Well,
Depot
why
and
do
now
you
I'm working
say
at
that so
Lowe's.
I don't mention what I do?
You don't want your job using anything against you. I'm not saying I'm gonna blow up, but I'm like
Mm-mm-mm.
saying you never want your job to say anything
Right,
against
right,
you.
right.
So
So
let's just
there's
say
like
you work for
nothing.
you work for Walmart. I work for Lowe's. You work for Walmart.
How do I break that down though? What exactly I do for Walmart?
You just say you're a fucking boss ass bitch
I'm a boss ass bitch,
in Walmart.
y'all, at Walmart.
You command a bunch of employees.
Command a bunch of
She works for the
employees.
safety department of Walmart. All right.
Yeah,
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 there you
yeah,
go. You
yeah.
see, we
Something
can
like
break it
that, something
down.
like that.
You like it now, right? You see now you can play with it. Now you can say
Mm-mm-mm.
whatever you want because
A
no
little
one's
bit.
gonna
I'm
fact
just
check you.
okay. Yeah, no. So I'm not really gonna break down my job, but I do have a really big role, and with that role, you definitely have to have a personality and understanding of the human mind too.
Well, I think to be any kind of boss, you have to definitely relate to people differently. Each
Right.
person's its own character,
Exactly.
which
And
is
I always
hard.
say every person is their own world.
Yeah, every person has a different way they view the world, which is tough. Let me ask you a question to just trail back a little bit on the only child thing because I think that was a great thing that you said. I've never heard that
Sure.
before. Um, what are some benefits that you think you've gotten from being an only child, though?
Independency.
Independency, okay.
Uh Eventually secureness in a way where maybe in high school I doubted so many things. I was afraid about things, and then years came later, I grew up and then I realized no, like I really got this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I will say independency. Independency is a really big thing as an only
Okay,
child. Independency could intimidate a lot of people.
I can see that. Yeah,
I
definitely.
personally like when it comes to love life, whatever it is, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm like your typical girl who's gonna be like stressing you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're not codependent of anybody.
No.
You could do your own shit,
Yeah.
and you let your partner do their own shit.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Exactly.
I
Like it's
respect that.
like cuz like me as being an only child, and it's not because of being an Aries, nothing. Me being an only child, I'm so used to doing things alone. So when my partner was to always be with me all the time, I can't.
Yeah, you
I
want
need I need
space.
my space. I need my
You
own
respect your
space.
space. Yeah, you respect their space. You want them to.
You need that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with
To be
that.
in a relationship, you have to be able to have your own hobbies
Mm-hmm.
with your friends, with whatever it is, and the other partner have their own hobbies. And then one time we reunite and see each other again. Until you don't put a ring on me, don't expect nothing more than that.
Facts. That makes sense. What are some bad things about being an only child? Do you think? Or not bad things. Let's just say some things you wish were better, or which things maybe you experienced.
Uh,
The alone factor in the beginning, maybe when you don't have the work, like you don't have everything figured out. Did it feel lonely at those times?
I mean, I think that's like the scariest part of being an only child because you have no one to go to. So like you're trying to figure it out all by yourself and like,
Yeah, that
but
makes sense.
I don't think at the long run there is nothing wrong with being an only child because the only thing you've become is stronger than people who do have siblings.
I'm gonna counter you on a little bit because I like what you said because I also heard something else you said, so I'm gonna use your own words against you, right? But you said if you were, but it was my question, but you answered it like this: if you were to ever decide to become a mother, if you were to go that route, you'd want to have another one. There's a reason you're saying that, right?
Right.
What's that reason?
Because I don't want my kids to be alone.
So there were some days that
Absolutely, 100%. There's been the majority of times I've been alone, and I'm talking about recent months. I mean, I had a seizure back in April, I think I told
so
you
sorry to
about.
hear that. Yeah.
And then I had my gallbladder removed back in July, and I will tell you, I was alone. I mean, if I had to go to my doctor's visits, I either took an Uber or I drove myself if I was able to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't have anyone. It was me and only me.
Yeah.
So, there is that part of being an only child that you deal with. And even though at the moment when you're going through that, you think it's like the worst thing ever, you're like so depressed, you're like, I have no one, A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go through that and then you realize, wow, like I really did that shit alone. And you know what? Good for me. Cause now I know I don't need no one. Even when I'm fucking sick, I'm able to handle it. And again, it depends on how sick you are, but thank God for technology, because then there's DoorDash, Uber Eats. For myself,
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
say for
saying.
myself, right? Like if I needed a medication and I couldn't drive, I DoorDashed. You
Yeah, no,
know?
it makes sense. That makes sense. I know what you're saying though, because entirely you wouldn't. You've went through it. You overcame it, and thank God you did, right? And you're giving grace and praise to everything that was able to be around your time period to benefit you, but you would never want that role reversed on something that's yours, like a kid, like in the future if you
Yeah,
were
I
to
would
decide
never
it.
like one thing like the
You want the
way
kid to always have like somebody to rely on.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And I will
which is
always
beautiful,
say
by the way. I want to give you
no,
your
thank you. And
which is
even and
nice.
say like one day like I only have one kid, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have like
Yeah,
another
you're not
child.
gonna dread it, but you're
That
gonna.
kid is going to have my full on 100% attention. That's my baby. If my baby is having a bad day, somebody bullied my baby, whatever it is, I'm all ears. I would never, especially if my kid's an only child, especially. That word especially is very emphasized on a
Yeah,
kid that's only one child. But if there's two kids, of course I'm still gonna be concerned and worried, but I
of
at least
course,
have someone, a little bit of my little sibling
which
to
makes sense.
bounce off. But when say like if I always said like I'm single.
Yeah,
I'm 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 29 years old. I'm not married. I have nothing. I'm not
30. So
pregnant. I have nothing, right? My mom, I always told my mom and my parents, if I want to have a kid, I am never going to depend on a guy. I don't have to be in a relationship. I don't have to be married
yeah,
to a
because
man.
nowadays we're allowed to do
I
that
will
without it.
go search for my sperm, get what I want and get myself pregnant. And I am so, and this is when I tell you being an only child, where I could give you the confidence of me being an only independent mother, I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
As long
With
as
today's world, the way we have it, it's definitely possible.
But not a lot of people, not a lot of women would want to do that. You understand? Being an
Yeah, no, one hundred
independent,
percent. Because everyone
only.
wants the Cinderella story, but sometimes it
It's not
doesn't.
even the Cinderella story. It's just having the support of the other person financially as
No, but
well.
I'm saying is just like the majority of people, guy or girl, want the Cinderella story.
Maybe my situation is different because
Yeah.
I've been, I was
No, I'm not
married.
saying you, but I'm saying the majority of the world, not you, like excluding you, is that is what's pictured out there. You know what I'm saying? Like when people walk, like if you have a kid, you would like for someone to walk through your house, right? And there's a picture of you and your couple and the kid. Like you know what I'm saying?
Ideal.
Ideally, that's what I'm trying to say. Not everyone wants just a picture of you and then your kid, and it's like you're always a parent. Where's the co-parent? It's
Correct.
not there. You
But
know what I'm
then when
saying?
somebody goes through what I've been through, right? And then somebody who has not been through what I've been through will never understand what I'm saying. Or maybe they
No,
will.
no, no. Because I can relate. Like I'm 30, and I even said to myself, if I do not find the person I am searching, it's my dad. If I don't, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. My
I
dad,
thought it
my
was a
my
ghost.
parents live here. My parents live here. They live with me.
Both?
Yeah, both my parents live with me.
I thought
I
they were in Peru.
no, they go to Peru from time to time, but they're here. They're both in the U.S. But
I've never met them, I think.
yeah, you have. You've been to a bunch of times. You met one. Definitely.
I'm so touched right now because I always thought they were in Peru.
No, you've met them plenty of times. Vos está borracha.
No, 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 no. I'm just because every time I see you, I feel like they're in Peru. Like I thought you told me they
The
moved.
majority of times that you visited me in Allen Park, yes, they were in Peru.
I actually thought they left and moved to Peru.
No, 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 not yet.
Oh,
They're
okay.
far from it.
Okay.
What the fuck were we saying? All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we're saying because I didn't expect that to be your answer, and I think that was beautiful because it brought us to a new topic.
The only child thing.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. We're gonna not end the podcast,
And
but
you
we're gonna
know,
end that
and
topic
I feel
after
like
this.
before we end this topic, like whoever is an only child, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm not wrong, whatever it is. But honestly, if you're an only child, share your thoughts. Like, let us know what it is because I deeply feel like being an only child, like we are a lot more stronger than the people who have siblings, not for nothing, but I do think we built like a really thick hard wall where like we need to know
The
if
clear
plan
skin.
A doesn't work, plan B, C, D, F, G, we got it planned out already. But,
Only childs, let us know. Let us know if she's speaking facts or cap.
I'm not speaking caps. Do not make me look bad, by the way. No, I'm kidding.
Moving on to the topics now
Don't make
because
me look
we are
bad.
rolling beautifully. What are we? An hour and a half. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end it after these couple of questions because I do want to. I want to keep it nice and short because I'm gonna have you back definitely in a group podcast. I want to have you back again
Are
individually.
you sure? You guys are witness of this.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have you back. This has been great. This has been great. It's already an hour and 40 minutes. I don't like to edit more than 2 hours, to be honest with you. It's just like a pain in the ass.
Okay,
But
so what
I
are
like
the
to keep.
questions
So the
now?
questions now.
What are the
We're going. Okay.
questions? Let's do this.
Okay. Questions that I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
What's the best life advice you have received so far?
Never be afraid to try anything.
I like that.
Your own fears are your issues.
Your own fears are your issue. I love
And
it.
do not fear to do whatever you feel like you doubt yourself that you can't do. Do it. Just do it. Because the worst thing you're gonna get is
Shia
a
LaBeouf
no.
over here.
Do not do
That's,
it.
that's a fucking clip. That's a clip.
Do
I like it.
it.
I'm gonna put that clip on. That's crazy. I like it.
People fear so much, and like the sad part is like the worst answer you're gonna get is a no.
I like it.
Just go for it. You know how many times that fear has closed opportunities for you
Touche.
because you're
Amen.
scared? What if you it always happens where like let me fucking try it, whatever, fuck it, let's try it, boom, something happens really nice. Don't fear, just do. And then when you do and they say no, okay, move on, but do not doubt yourself because
I
of
like
that.
it.
Keep going.
Second question. What's the best practice you use a lot in your daily life today?
Probably I have a few.
Okay, you can go ahead.
So one
The floor
is
is all yours.
so one is all right, what was the question again?
What's the best practice you use a lot in your daily life?
Just do, don't think.
Just do, don't think.
Just
Best
do, don't
practice.
think.
You do it every day.
Just do, don't think. Especially if you know what your responsibility is. You're just being lazy and you're tired. And you're like, maybe I could do this before I do that. Just do it. If you know that's your task A, B, and C, knock it out. Because once you knock it out, you're happy after that. Just do.
That is true.
Just do it.
I like it. That's a good.
And that's like a really big thing that I really want people to know. Just do it because people procrastinate. It's not good. I'm telling you right now. Don't think about it. Just do it. That's it. Just fucking do it. Because the more you put thoughts to that, you're not going to do it.
All right. What is number 3? What is one thing that has stuck with you that your parents have taught you?
No te ahogues en un vaso de agua.
Can you translate that for the gringos?
Don't drown in a cup of water.
What does that mean to you?
That means that no matter what problems there are out there, there is a solution for it.
I like it. I like the interpretation on that.
That's how I see it. So Do not stay drowned in the problem. Make sure you find a solution, because there is always a solution to a problem. It might not benefit you. It might not be the best outcome for you, but there is a solution.
You know how I took that one? There's always a sink to empty the cup. That's how I took that one. But almost the same interpretation on the second interpretation. I like it. All right. You want to give a shout out to who taught you that, mom or dad?
My dad,
Dad.
my
Shout
father.
out
My
to
father has made me the
Mr.
woman I
Leon.
am.
Mr. Lion.
Señor Leon, he's made me very much of a tough, I will say I'm a very tough woman. I could tell you that much.
I like it. That was a good one. Um, Number 4. If you were to be able to talk to young Jennifer right now, what would you say to her?
Trust yourself.
Do you feel like young Jennifer didn't trust herself a lot?
No, 'cause she doubted herself.
She did the opposite of just do it.
Well, because when I was little, I wasn't the greatest kid, and I was in summer school. I did all that. I wasn't, the most. When you come from like a childhood of going to summer school, you think you're like a dumbass. I'm not gonna lie. Like at least I thought I did. I was like, I'm going to summer school, and the other ones pass, whatever it is. But that's bullshit. You could always change the story. You could change it completely, and thank God I have, and I did, and this is why I have the job I have.
I feel you.
So do not doubt yourself because of your past. You could change that shit.
All right. Question number 5. What is one conspiracy theory that you absolutely believe in?
Uh,
I'll give you examples. People think Earth is flat. People think aliens exist. People
right. I
think
was
that.
gonna go with that. So I think alien exists. I think the whole zombie apocalypse stuff could happen.
Hmm.
I think that in Area 51,
I think COVID was really close to making people believe COVID. I mean, the zombie thing was going to happen.
I do think there's a lot of things in it's Area 51, right? I feel, am I saying it the right way? Because I'm scared I'm not.
Area
Okay.
51, yeah.
Area 51, I feel like has a lot of fucked up shit in there. And I think that whole zombie apocalypse, everything they show us in movies could happen. I really do think they could happen. I mean, there was a COVID-19 movie before COVID happened here. And it was sort of
That's
exactly the
true.
same thing. It was.
What was that movie called? I know who.
COVID-19.
No, no, it wasn't called 19. It
It
was
was
a.
like a Korean movie or
It
some
was
shit. It
no.
was
It
a
was a.
corona.
No, it was.
Coronavirus.
No, it was with Morgan. I think Morgan Freeman was in it, and
No, there was an older one that was
oh
called either
really?
COVID-19 or coronavirus. But it was
Maybe
called
we
that.
got a fact checker on that one.
Fact, yeah, go ahead. But I will say this, the whole like zombie bullshit, like I feel like everything they show us in movies is for a reason. So say like World War Two with
World War Two. Adolf Hitler.
Brandon no. With
I don't think I'm supposed to say that name.
Angelina's ex-husband,
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. But not only that, that one with Will Smith and his dog,
I Am Legend. Great movie.
I Am Legend. Bro, I don't doubt I don't doubt anything on this planet Earth. I don't doubt anything. If there's fucking like
And I
what
think I think what you have to also realize is a lot of people that are just like you that believe that 100%.
No, I feel like if there is
There's a
humans in
possibility of
planet
anything.
Earth, if there's few humans in planet Earth,
It
there
could be
is
an
some
infection.
shit,
Yeah.
some other shit in other planets.
Gotcha.
Like what makes us the only planet on Earth that has this?
I agree with you. The last question. Oh, the last two questions. You're 29. I'm 30. What do you have to say to those people? What kind of advice do you give them on their dating life?
Honestly, don't date right now.
I
It
like that one.
really, really sucks right now. The pool is terrible. Um, I'm very different. Puka, I'm really different from like any other individuals. Like, I mean, I date older people. I date like 50, 45 years old and all that. But my reasoning for that is because I can't find what I want to find nowadays
With the pool that we
with the
have.
pool we have right now. So I find that with older folks. So don't date. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Go ahead and date if you want to date, but it's hard.
I
And you'll
like
see
it.
what I'm saying about.
I
People are
like
not
the
consistent.
rawness, the realness on that answer. Beautiful answer.
Don't waste your time. Just do you. Focus on you. You're not fucking. You're gonna waste your time trying to be on these fucking dating apps.
And And the last question I got for you before we leave it to you and you give a closing statement or you want to ask me questions before we end it is where do you see yourself in 5 years, Jen?
In 5 years, I see myself successful.
I love it.
Successful. Um, and the reason why I say that is because at the moment I'm working on my success. So I told you that I've been taking
You're speaking it into existence. I love it.
right. So I told you I've been taking these classes every
Mhm.
Saturday for the
Yeah.
past 4 Saturdays, 8 to 4 p.m.
Happy for you. I really am. You're putting
These
in the
little
work.
things, these little courses will bring me in five
A
years.
step closer
Will
to your goals.
exactly, and I'm working on
Beautiful.
it now.
Beautiful.
So yeah, in 5 years from now, absolutely, I want to be a successful woman, and I think I'm working on that. And little by little, with sacrifices, with a trial and error, and all that, it'll happen. So you just gotta keep positive.
Absolutely. Touche. And I'm going to leave it to you. What are your closing statements and do you have any questions for me?
I want to know, one, what made you first of all create this podcast? What was it? What made you do this Puka Circle podcast?
Do you want to know the name or are you asking me just in general like why I
Is it
created the
not a
podcast?
Puka podcast?
Yeah, well no, it is. Well I'll give you a why I started the podcast is I've always been intrigued with people's point of views.
I love that.
It's my own form of therapy to
I
get
wish
different
we would. I
perspectives.
wish we would have spoken more in this podcast about like behavioral science.
Oh yeah, we like I said,
Um,
it could. You're going to be a return
I
guest. I don't lie.
love, 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 love exploring the human's mind. I
Yeah,
have a bachelor's degree in behavioral science,
look at that. I
which
had no idea.
means that I have to somewhat understand every single mind and work with it.
Hmm.
Every single one is a different formula, I
That's
feel.
kind of like you just said my answer in a more articulate way. That's exactly why I started the podcast. I feel like everyone has an answer to something, which is point of view, right? And what I do from it, I take the best things that relate to me and the worst out of people to make sure that I am continuing in my path and being the best version of myself
Right.
possible.
And I feel like this is like a really short podcast. You have to have me again because
It will. It's like it's
I
not short
have
at all.
I
This is
have
we're
guys,
an hour and 40 minutes.
I have so many stories to share about
You
being in
have
the ER, going from
well,
there.
you have to agree that the next podcast you're in because you are going to be back. It's 100%. Like I'm not even trying. I don't say that to people and then not have them back. The next like because I do it by seasons. It's just to give you a short idea. It's 12 episodes per season. So you might not be back for this season because this season is kind of like one-on-ones.
Mhm.
But for the next season, it's going to be group ones again. And in that one, I want you to definitely be open to being on an episode with another stranger
That's
and just
fine.
discussing whatever the topic will be on that
Yeah, no,
episode.
that's fine. Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
very open about hearing other people's thoughts and minds and
Yeah.
all that.
All I
And
ask is my guests is ever when they're in like those strange moments, is just be respectful. Listen to the other person's point of view. Even if you disagree with it, there's a way to disagree without being disrespectful.
yeah, well,
When we get there,
sometimes
we get
like
there.
the best areas of me comes out and it might come
Well,
out
that's
very
passion.
wrong for
Passion
me.
is 100%
I don't
allowed.
fucking care that much.
Yeah. Passion is
Honestly, like I
100%
speak my
allowed.
mind. I just speak my mind and people might not like it and it's okay
Yeah.
as long as you
That's what I'm
understand.
saying. Like passion's always
Don't
welcomed,
fuck with me.
but there's like
Just
passion
kidding.
and like disrespect, right? And I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
think you
know.
would
I
ever be
think I might be a
disrespectful.
little disrespectful sometimes.
Well, we'll make sure we grab the right guest for you.
Yeah, we need a really tough
A
one.
tough one with thick layers, exactly. An
Yeah.
only child, you know.
And
So,
only chat thick later, motherfucker.
but absolutely, you're gonna be welcome back because I can tell you're gonna flourish in the group one. It'd be interesting, whatever topic we choose, and then like again, and then when I do another solo one again, you'll absolutely be back. One on ones are I love one on ones. I told you it was
I
gonna be
feel like
comfortable.
this podcast, it was like a first like trial, like we just
Mhm.
tried it, but I think like the next one would be a little more interesting.
You know what's
Um,
funny? I used to think that too, but when you go and listen to this one, it's probably gonna be really good.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like I was a little nervous with this one,
Nah,
but
you'll
once
be
I get a
fine.
little more comfortable with it, I'll
That's what
probably
everyone
be
thinks, and when
more
they listen to it, they're like,
more
"Holy
open. I
shit!"
just want to make sure it's interesting to you guys, absolutely, because like
Yeah, that's what you want. You
I
want
want y'all hooked with this. So like whatever you guys think could, benefit Puka's podcast, bring it in.
Is there any last closing statement you would like to say?
I just want to say that always keep trying. You are your worst enemy for sure. You are your worst enemy.
You're trying too hard. I think you ended it beautifully before, and you're just what you're doing is you're trying to oversell it. You- I
Follow your
think
heart.
that's beautiful.
Just follow your heart.
We got to take pictures too.
Follow your fucking heart.
There we go.
That's
I
it.
like that. That you meant that one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Jen will definitely be back as a guest. I hope you guys all get something out of this, and hopefully the spooky stories fit the theme. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hope it weren't so fucking boring.